Factories are places where life and labor meet, but sometimes they turn into nightmares. Sparks fly, machinery malfunctions, chemicals leak, floors collapse, and flames engulf workers in seconds. For most, these accidents are instantly fatal, but a few survive the impossible. Today, we'll explore 4 of the most brutal factory accidents ever recorded, where workers faced fire, explosions, collapsing buildings, and toxic gas, and live to tell the story. Each tale will shock you, but also reveal the strength, courage, and instinct that allowed survival against all odds. Triangle Shirtwaist. On June 23, 1911, at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in New York City, 146 mostly young immigrant women were sewing garments on the top floors of the factory, unaware that within minutes their workplace would become a death trap. Around 4:40 p.m., a fire ignited in a pile of scrap fabric, quickly spreading across oil-soaked wooden floors and dry materials. Flames surged rapidly, smoke filled the rooms, and chaos erupted as workers realized the doors were locked by management, leaving stairwells and fire escapes crowded and unsafe. Panic set in as the fire escapes buckled under the weight of fleeing workers, forcing some to jump from windows 8 stories high, many fatally. Amid the horror, a few survivors clung to scaffolding, crawled through smoke-filled corridors, and maneuvered through collapsing floors to escape. Mary Gallagher, one young worker, recalled the heat, smoke. Outside, crowds watched in horror as bodies fell from the windows. But those who survived later testified that quick thinking, courage, and even a dash of luck saved their lives. The fire killed 146 people, shocked the city, and became a landmark event that spurred nationwide labor reforms, fire codes, and workplace safety laws. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire is remembered as a harrowing reminder of the thin line between routine work and disaster, illustrating how negligence, poor planning, and unsafe environments can turn factories into instant death traps, and how human instinct and determination can sometimes prevail even in the face of overwhelming odds. Bhopal Gas Tragedy. On December 3, 1984, Vikram Singh, a factory worker at the Union Carbide pesticide plant in Bhopal, India, walked into his early morning shift unaware that a chemical disaster was about to unfold that would become one of the deadliest industrial accidents in history. A storage tank containing methyl isocyanate gas leaked due to faulty maintenance and safety failures, releasing a dense, invisible cloud that drifted into nearby residential areas. Within moments, families woke, coughing, choking, and blinded by burning eyes as the gas caused severe respiratory distress. Thousands collapsed in the streets, struggling to breathe, while panic spread through the densely populated neighborhood. Vikram, separated from colleagues and blinded by chemical burns, staggered through streets filled with chaos, navigating overturned bicycles, collapsed walls, and screaming neighbors, gas filling his lungs with every breath. Despite exhaustion, confusion, and searing pain, he relied on memory and instinct to reach a temporary shelter and medical help. His survival depended on keeping moving, conserving air, and avoiding prolonged exposure while the toxic cloud lingered. Over 3,700 people died immediately, and tens of thousands more suffered chronic health problems, yet Vikram survived. The disaster exposed corporate negligence, lax safety standards, and the immense human cost of industrial carelessness, while his story demonstrates how resilience, awareness, and presence of mind can make the difference between life and death in a chemical catastrophe. His survival also emphasizes the importance of emergency response systems and disaster preparedness, which had been tragically lacking in Bhopal at the time. Texas explosions. On August 9, 2005, Jose Ramirez, a refinery technician at the BP Texas City refinery, was performing routine maintenance in the control room when a catastrophic explosion shook the facility, sending flames, molten metal, and flying debris into every corner. Alarms blared as 15 coworkers were killed instantly and over 170 were injured. Jose, thrown across the floor and briefly knocked unconscious, regained awareness to find fire consuming the plant, machinery collapsing, and walls cracking under the pressure. Injured with broken ribs, burns, and smoke inhalation, he had to crawl through debris, dodge molten metal, and find a path out before the inferno consumed him. Every second brought more danger. Leaking chemicals, sparks from broken circuits, and collapsing pipes threatened to kill him instantly. Using a combination of instinct, sheer determination, and experience, Jose navigated through fireballs, grabbing hold of fallen equipment for balance and avoiding collapsing ceilings. After tense moments that felt like hours, he reached a corridor partially shielded from the flames, where coworkers helped guide him to the emergency exit. Emergency responders arrived minutes later, rescuing the remaining survivors. This disaster exposed years of safety violations, poor hazard management, and lack of emergency planning at the refinery, prompting nationwide reforms. Jose's survival exemplifies the razor-thin margin between life and death in industrial accidents, highlighting how courage, knowledge, and split-second decision-making can allow a person to endure a fiery catastrophe that claimed so many lives around him. Rana Plaza collapse. On April 11, 2013, Shamim Akhtar, a seamstress on the 8th floor of the Rana Plaza building in Dhaka, Bangladesh, arrived at work as cracks had already begun forming in the walls and floors, signaling imminent collapse. Around 9 a.m., the building trembled violently as poorly constructed concrete slabs and steel beams gave way under pressure, collapsing floors above and below her. Machines, tables, and heavy equipment crashed down around her, crushing limbs, trapping coworkers, and filling the air with choking dust. Shamim was pinned under tons of debris but kept her focus, moving small pieces of rubble to create breathing space while calling out for help. Hours passed as emergency teams carefully navigated unstable floors to reach survivors. Shamim endured severe injuries, fractures, contusions, and dust inhalation, yet she remained conscious, guided by determination and instinct. Over 1,000 workers perished in what became one of the deadliest industrial building disasters in history. Shamim's survival is not just miraculous, it emphasizes human resilience, quick thinking, and the will to live under impossible conditions, showing how even in an event where structural failures, overcrowding, and negligence combine to create almost certain death, a combination of presence of mind and courage can allow survival. Her experience also exposed the dangers of unsafe construction, ignored inspections, and industrial negligence, serving as a critical lesson for workplace safety worldwide.